Excuse me a minute. I'm getting a phone call. Oh yeah, Japan. Yeah, I'll totally work for Pokemon and Nintendo forever now. Yeah, okay. I'll tell Joe Brown that he sucks. Thanks. Bye. Big news from Japan.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Cup of Joe's. Episode 42. I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. Shoot me if I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm not wrong, because that would hurt.
I will go look.
Okay, thank you. My name is Joe Brown. I am joined by my best friend and co-host Joe Perrion, and we have a special guest with us here on this steaming hot edition of Cup of Joe's. Our good friend Adam Dorricott. Adam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Joe. And Joe, it's we've talked about me doing this for a while, and it has finally happened. I'm quite excited for that.
The stars have aligned.
You and Joe Brown have probably talked about it. This was the first time I have ever heard about it. So it was for me. It was like, oh, my friend Adam wants to come on and do this, and I was like, okay, sure, why not?
I assumed that out of the conversations.
Joe's not aware how much of a big baller we were bringing on to Cup of Joe's this week.
Yeah, Joe did explain that. He's like, yeah, my friend Adam. I was like, okay, what does he do? He was just like, he's real big into the Pokemon. And I was like, so he's like you. All right, I got it. We're going to talk about Pokemon. And then and then we were talking to you before the episode started, and you just let it slip that you kind of work for the Nintendo company or whatever, and I was like, oh, this is a way bigger deal than Joe Brown had told me in the beginning.
I tried to be nonchalant about it.
I do, yeah. I get to do some contracts and provide commentary for the competitive side of Pokemon, which is all good fun. So
do you just laugh at Joe Brown while he's like...
Yeah, because so for our listeners, Adam is one of the top commentators for the video game championships and goes to the official commentary or the official streams and does commentary for them. And then on the grassroots level, if you've ever seen any of my tweets about regionals that I've been working at, Adam is the main producer behind those events. So
it's all good fun and games.
So I forgot
I wish I worked for Nintendo. I do wish I did. I think that'd be fun. Like,
that would be so much fun.
So fun.
It would be fun for like maybe the first year, and then it would just be like, you know what? This kind of sucks.
I was gonna say that it would be it'd be fun to go into work every day and play Smash Bros with Reggie, but then I was like, oh, rip, pour one out for Reggie because he's retiring. Now we gotta hang out with Bowser.
He looks pretty dope.
Do you think he mains Bowser? Do you think he's contractually obligated in Smash to play Bowser?
Dude, I main Bowser, so yes. Bowser's a brick.
Yeah, I think he has to. I think like Doug K. Rule is sat in his office like kicking himself, like, no, it was my time.
Doug K. Rule.
Doug K. Rule, and who else can we give a name like that to?
Mr. Wario. I don't know. He's probably
Don't worry, you'll get your chance sometime, Michael Mega Man.
Yeah, I was gonna go James Mega Man. You took it from me.
I just love that the internet is undefeated because when it was announced that Doug Bowser would take over, memes of Doug Bowsette took over the internet. Like,
there's content I don't wish to see.
It's so stupid, but it's so funny at the same time.
Yeah, when I heard people talking about it, they're like, yeah, Doug Bowser's going to be the guy in Nintendo now. I thought they were kidding because my friends have come up with another like alternative person who works at Nintendo called, what is his name? James Tendo or something like that.
James Tendo, Mr. Tendo.
Tim Tendo, I can't remember what they call him. Something Tendo.
That's everybody's uncle that works at Nintendo. Tim Tendo.
Tim Tendo.
No, but hold on, Joe. Let's go back to what you asked Adam a question about working with me. I'd like to hear some compliments. So go ahead, ask that again.
Oh no, I said, do you just laugh at Joe Brown while he runs around with his head cut off down in the?
Joe and I have a very good time. I enjoy Joe's work a lot. So it's always nice when we can convince. Yeah, I mean he's working.
I work hard to send Adam memes all day.
Yeah, no, very, very regularly, because Joe and I have very different schedules. So while I'm at work, Joe is in prime meme hours. So it's just like, particularly on the release that we had this week, I was like, all right, I know there's some good stuff around.
Well, that's kind of upsetting because Joe Brown didn't send me any memes.
Well, I tried to send you one, and then our friend made fun of me for sending it to you because I created it.
Well, no, he did not. I made fun of you for sending it to me because I was confused.
See, Adam doesn't make fun of me. He just appreciates my Vine compilations, my 25-minute Vine compilations I send his way at 7 in the morning.
I would appreciate those too.
Joe, I can't even get. All right, we're not gonna have this discussion.
No. I want to know. We can't even what?
I can't even get you to watch the videos of topics we're discussing on the show. You're gonna watch a 25-minute Vine compilation.
I watched a 30-minute Vine compilation this morning.
What's your favorite Vine? Let's go around the table here. What's everybody's favorite Vine?
Ooh, okay, come to me last. I got to think of it.
Okay.
I think you know mine, and it's that there's only one thing worse.
Oh, a child.
No.
No. Oh man, so my favorite is the guys in the high school classroom doing chopsticks, but like dancing with like doing the whipping nene or whatever. Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite Vine. I also love they were roommates. Oh my god, they were roommates.
That's one of my favorites too. And they were roommates. Oh my god, they were roommates.
The problem is when you see so many Vines, it's hard to think of some of them.
One of my favorite Vines is when the dude's in the car and it's like, "We brought you frankincense, thank you, and I brought you myrrh, thank you, murder, Judas."
Yeah, that's such a good one.
There's a really horrible part of me that really loves the "come get yours" juice one.
When he breaks the
Because it's horrible for everyone. The child is injured, but the person who's done it has damaged their cooking equipment.
Oh my god. What about the Marvin Gaye cat honking one? The bow 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 bow.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh man, too many Vines.
With the old woman carrying the jugs of, I think, water or milk, and they and she just throws one of them.
There's I know it's by Tessa Weiler, and it's the Harry Potter one, where she's watching Harry Potter and it gets the phrase like, "You're a wizard, Harry," and then at that moment with the face swap every time.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's a good one.
I like the one lady. She does a bunch of Vines, or did, rest in peace. Not her. She's alive, but Vine's not. I had to clarify.
Many careers, which is from these
where
people.
She's like, not to be racist, but I love goat cheese. It's like, that's not even racist. I said not to be racist.
Yeah, Emily, I like that one. That's so funny.
Oh yeah, she does so many good Vines. She's hilarious.
Not to be racist, but I love goat cheese. That wasn't racist. I know.
Oh,
the other good one is not to be racist or anything, but Asian people.
Adam and I had one. Honestly, one of my favorite moments in my Pokemon career was not Pokemon related at all. Was just as a production crew watching Vine compilations, giggling throughout the night in Toronto.
Yeah, we worked. How many of us? There was like 6 of us there. We're in an Airbnb, and this Airbnb has like this nice TV and this nice living room, and so we took it upon ourselves to introduce people on the team who hadn't seen Vine.
Oh yeah,
to Vine. This was quite a bonding experience.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
So wait, so when you do these things, you're the only one that's actually getting paid?
Oh no, that's not even.
Not. We didn't even get that on the grassroots level when we organize streams and things for regionals.
Oh,
we talk more about that offline because it's a point of contention for a lot of us in the in the community. So
here comes Joe Perry and is like our manager now. Like, I got a contract for you, kiddies.
Who wants money?
I will say though, like, I'm so happy we finally have Adam on because along with Joe's friend Jesse, Adam was my first friend who listened to the podcast. So like, you're either 1A or 1B as the original Cup of Joe's listener.
No, the first one of my friends her name was Rachel. She was our first real listener.
I didn't realize your mum's name was Rachel, Joe.
She's not gonna like that one.
Wow, what a burn.
I saw it dangling there. I was like, I can't not take this.
Yeah.
It's like the cartoon shiniest apple on the tree has just bowed its branch at me.
Yo, mama jokes, I need it.
You got me.
But regardless, I'm saying Adam has been there since episode 1. So
Of Cup of Joe's or the Leaf Racer podcast?
no, of Cup of Joe's. We don't talk about the other podcasts. I mean, we can.
We don't talk about the Leaf Racer podcast. I do like how we did start the Cup of Joe's podcast where you're like Joe, I did it, and I was like, what are you talking about? You're like, welcome to an episode of Cup of Joe's, and I was like, is this happening?
Yeah. All right, so let's dive in because we've been having a little fun here, but we haven't even started talking about our main topic on the agenda today on this episode of Cup of Joe's, which is Pokemon. Now, anyone who listens regularly knows I'm a big Pokemon fan. Our friend Adam is also a huge Pokemon fan, and Joe likes Pokemon, but he's more on the casual side of it, not very competitive or anything like that. He likes Pikachu.
Well, I want to get more competitive, and I asked you to help me, and you told me that I had to like the fire type Pokemon if you were going to help me, and I told you to go eat it.
I'm just saying, I don't make the rules, all right? Them's the rules.
Those aren't the rules at
Them's the rules. Okay, Adam, can you actually, before we get into this, can you clear something up for me? Joe was extremely distraught when I was trashing on Sobble because he said he liked Sobble the most. Now, where I come from, when a new generation starts and they show off the starters, it's war online. Like, you go to war with your friends on which starter you like the most. Am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely. And the way they've done it now is they literally give us 9 months to fight.
Thank you. See, Joe, you're getting so upset. Like, you're not ingrained. It's like that. It's like the Bane meme, where like you're merely just a Pokemon fan. We were born in the darkness of the internet of hating everyone else's starters. It's what you do.
Yeah, but here was the thing. Like, I was trying to have a serious conversation with Joe Brown, and he started throwing that out, and I was like, dude, what the hell, man? I'm trying to talk to you about this.
Because Team Score Bunny, okay?
Yeah, too bad you're gonna get ripped to shreds by my psychic chameleon.
You don't even know it's psychic.
I'm making it psychic.
You're making it. No matter what.
No matter what, it's
Quick
happening.
email to timtendo@nintendo.com.
Give me a second. Done. All right, sounds good to me.
Oh,
Sweet.
I'm glad we've covered it.
All right,
Man,
so
Facebook was not happy with those random letters I just put into it.
all right, so let's talk about this: Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Now, everyone, we've been anticipating this for so long because
Wait.
What?
Why didn't we just go with Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Gun? Like, I feel like that's a better.
Because you can't bring a sword to a gunfight.
You can, and you did.
Maybe
Mainly, it's because it appears, and I may be jumping ahead, to be set in a country where guns aren't legal. Just the thought.
maybe
Oh yes. I forgot
Maybe.
about that.
should have been. What do the policemen have? Those little baton things.
I believe the technical term is hitting sticks.
Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Hitting
Wait.
Stick.
Wait, quick question. What country are we talking about?
England.
Okay, but they're legal in England. Police officers just don't carry them. In Australia is where they're legitimately not allowed to have any type of firearm.
I mean, the people who can carry firearms in Britain is super limited. Like, certain police forces can, but it's a special force.
All right, we're getting off track here. So I was very excited. I was not one of these people. I'll ask your questions on it, but leading up. Oh, okay, next question. Leading up to the reveal, a lot of people were saying, I'm just going to keep my expectations low. Yada yada. I'm not going to think the world or anything. I'm not going to ask for a lot. I just hope it turns out good. I was on the complete opposite end of that because after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Game Freak is not in our good graces right now as a community with the games. So I was actually through the roof high expectations because this needed to blow me away or knock my socks off in a presentation. And I think they absolutely nailed it. I loved how they did everything in that 7-minute trailer that they went through, only 2 minutes of actual footage or whatever. But I think that that direct, those 7 minutes were perfect. It's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, it was very, very good. Though I did have a question that I probably should have asked you earlier, was when they introduced the starters, that was not in-game. That was not in-game footage of those starters. That was out. That was
yeah, I think it was I think it was a CG cutscene or something. Yeah, I don't think it was in-game footage.
It felt very much like they were trying to make it in-game footage, but not. So
right,
it had that similar feel, and then when you see some of the jumps and the coming out of the fountain and such, that's clearly, CG. But I don't think they've gone and been well, we'll just redesign and remodel them for this.
Yeah. It was really interesting. I really liked it. I really liked those Pokemons, man. I'm real excited about.
So let's talk about England now. Adam, you are our resident English expert here.
Why do you say that? What makes you so certain about that?
I don't know. It's just, he talks funny.
I don't know, Adam. Aren't you pretty insulted by Joe Brown's assumptions?
In this case, no. Because
Wow.
I do have a passport from there, which I think we can get out on the game. So
Yes,
I think that's how that works.
But the real
you get a discount at GameStop. Could you show your English passport?
Right.
The question is, though, are you actually working with Nintendo to translate the game from
English to American?
To American? Are you there helping?
I think that's a job. If I see that on a job posting board, I will apply.
Oh, you shouldn't, because someone's probably trying to steal your identity, so I don't think you should apply for that. But
I'll be disappointed if the professor, I think, is going to make the game and set that tone. So if the professor just opens up that, all right, chap, you're okay, we're in. I'm in.
I'm in.
Good fish and chips, yeah.
So, all right, Adam, since you are from the region that the Galar region has taken its inspiration from, what did you think of the trailer and the news that it was based off of England?
I really enjoyed it, honestly. I thought a lot of the settings that they showed off were there was a nice mix of settings, and so when I did I looked at the map because I actually woke up a little bit late. I missed the first 9 to 9:07. I watched it about 9:20, but I'd already been bombarded with, oh, it's set in England, and then people's loud opinions on the starters. And so I looked at the map, and it took me a moment. I was like, well, it's not England. And then I turned it upside down and went, oh, it's actually the UK as a whole. And I think a lot of the settings, while clearly embellished, there isn't snow across the middle of, Midlands, England.
Right.
I think it's a lot of interesting, styles that we may have not seen before. X and Y kind of got there. But some of those buildings, the designs, definitely something new and interesting that I'm looking forward to exploring.
That first house, I thought it was the Shire for a second. It looked like where Frodo lives.
Well, there's a cityscape, and I believe it's the female player character running across, and it looks like the kind of end of the Victorian era, which I think is definitely cool compared to some of the ultra modern cities we've been to in previous games.
Yeah, I do kind of like it. It is more. It's going back to the, I guess, more traditional style that the first couple of generations had, with less technology. Like Unova had a lot of technology. Kalos also did with like a lot of its cities were very modern, like Lumio City, which was like France, or was like Paris. So I do like that there is a mix of, they have some of that steampunk industrial revolution portions of England, but then it looks like with the soccer stadiums and some of the other towns like London up top, that does seem more modern, and it has a lot of steel and a lot of big buildings and things. So I think there is a nice mesh of old and new, and I'd be pretty confident in saying that is going to be an aspect of the game, is like the combination of traditional and, you know, new wave technology.
I think one of the cooler things I did see in the trailer, though, yeah, the settings look beautiful. The forest area that they kind of briefly show you, like it's like a dark and kind of like gloomy forest.
Mm-hmm.
That looks crazy cool, but it also, this is like the first time for me, because I didn't I am a casual, as they say, when it comes to Pokemon. Walking, like, I think at the end or near the end of the trailer, you walk into like a huge like battle stadium, and you're wearing like a jersey and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool to me. Like, that's like going back and like being like Ash Ketchum, going through all this other stuff and like going to these huge stadiums where people watch you fight Pokemon. And I thought that was really an interesting thing, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool to do in a game.
Yeah, it gives like a scale, right?
Okay, yeah, all right. I got nervous because none of you guys were talking as I was saying that. I was like, I've done a horrible thing.
No. I think the stadiums are like, it's really cool, because I remember watching the anime. It, like, when Ash would go up against those gym leaders, it was like a town event, right? Like, there were people in those stadiums watching the battles, and for so many of the games, it was kind of just like you with a bug type lady, and you have like, here's my Talonflame that's going to destroy everything. You know what I mean? Like, no one was watching it, but having Lucario and Tyranitar, which that terrible choice by Game Freak, because Lucario absolutely dumpsters Tyranitar in that matchup. Like, Tyranitar's times 4 weak to fighting. Was I the only one who was like, oh, well, this isn't even entertaining? It's just like, you know, I don't know. Manchester versus a middle school soccer team. Like,
I feel like they do it a few times. Like when they pick kind of like the clip of battle, one always has a very clear advantage over the other.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to pull out like Stack Attacker versus Stack Attacker. And be like, what?
Yeah, I'm watching the trailer right now, and you're right.
Yeah, it's just fun. But I love that, and I was watching Game Explain, the YouTube channel. They have a really in-depth video, like, analysis of pretty much like every frame of the trailer, and they go and they look at the map and they say, like, this is where we think the 8 gyms are. And it seems like all of the gyms are all arenas or different, like, football stadiums. So I think that's a nice change, that it seems like the whole country is behind it, because a lot of the knock on some previous games is like, you're just one kid, right, and you go through all this stuff, but it doesn't really seem like it affects the world. But in this one, it's like everyone is invested in every kid's journey through beating, you know, getting all the gym badges and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'd also assume that, like, London up top, or whatever the place that's looking like London, is going to be the Elite Four and stuff like that. So what do you think about, Adam, going back from the Z Captains or the Island Guardians or whatever we had in Generation 7 and going back to gyms?
Honestly, I'm a huge fan. I kind of complain, and when I talk about it with people, I'm like, yeah, I'd like something a bit different. And then they tried something a bit different, and I was like, oh no, give me my gym sack. No, sorry, I apologize.
Yes.
Don't make me run around a cave chasing, I think it was Rattata, or something of that nature.
A Alolan Rattata.
Right, and I was like, I like the concept, and I think if this was like a side game, that'd be great, but I didn't feel very rewarded, kind of as I was progressing. Like, and obviously I've been playing for a very long time, not having that track of being able to say, okay, well, I'm at Gym 4, I should logically be about halfway through the game, or just under half because of the Elite Four. It felt odd, and I'm quite glad we're going back to it. I do like that they tried something new, but I think something that different would have suited a different type of game. And if each island had 2 gyms, I'd have been just content with it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it was cool that they did try something and it fit the world of Alola, but it seemed more arbitrary than before, and people always knock the 8 gyms. It's like, oh, it's the same thing, it doesn't even matter. But like the captains and the battles, like they seemed less important because they all did the same thing. It was like, let me go get these nuts and juice or whatever for the grass one, or watch these dancing Marowak 3 times for the fire one. Like, it seemed even more formulaic than the thing that we complained for 6 generations was too formulaic. You get what I'm saying?
No, it got very strange. I got my head around the totem Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel it took away a little bit from the actual captains and guardians, because I really enjoy, you have to talk to them and figure it out. And I felt that in a way it was just like, oh, well, I'm going to tell you about this stuff and you just have to go do it for me.
Oh.
Right.
And, oh, okay, like I actually wanted to fight you and battle you, and
like the fairy lady. Remember in Sun and Moon, not Ultra Sun and Moon because they fixed it, but she just gives you Farium, and it's like
Mina does that. She's just like, have this.
Yeah, and it's like, what the heck? Like, I'm supposed to earn these things, but like that's the problem they ran into, because usually you have 8 badges, but with the Z moves, there's 18 types, so you couldn't have 18 big badges. Like Flyinium Z was just on a rock, like on a like thing that you pulled out.
It was very odd in that periodically they just kind of give you that, and you're like, oh, okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So yeah, other things that I liked about this trailer. I think the look is really good. Like some people are online saying, "Oh, this doesn't look that good," or "It looks like the 3DS models," and they're like, "Well, yeah, because they future-proofed those models by making them 1080p, but downscaling it to 240 for the 3DS, so that they could use it further on, so they didn't have to remodel every asset in the Pokemon franchise." And I think the game looks really pretty.
The game looks real good. Yeah, dude. I sent you a text after I watched it, and I was like, I'm so hyped. And then you just said, yeah.
Is that what I said?
Something like, hold on, let me go look.
You go look it up.
While you look at it, I did see I think it was on Twitter, I saw it, where somebody compared the Pikachu in this trailer to a Let's Go Pikachu. And
here, I have this photo right here. I'll post it in our Discord as you're talking about.
And it's such like a small adaptation in how it's presented, but it does look significantly different in that it just looks a lot more kind of what we're used to. While the Let's Go was definitely a lot friendlier and more engaging, that outline and that shading makes me feel a lot more comfortable with Gen 8.
Yeah, I think, and I honestly, I wasn't one who hated on Let's Go. Like, I thought Let's Go looked pretty too. You know what I mean? Because I am a part of the appeal of the Pokemon franchise or aesthetic is the art style, and it looks, even if it is very childish or whatever, like it looks very pretty, very clean. All the characters look nice, the Pokemon look nice. So even Let's Go looked fine to me. Excuse me. I think of what's even more interesting is when you look at the 3DS and you're like, and you thought this looked good on 3DS, and you're like, oh dear God, like these just random green lines that are supposed to look like grass, but your brain colors in the the spots anyway for it. Like, no, I think this game was very pretty.
Yeah.
Did you find your text, Joe?
I did find my text, and it's even worse than I thought.
Oh God, what did I say?
Said, dude, I'm hyped. And I said that at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you responded at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You want to record tomorrow? No! Even like you didn't even pay attention to me.
Because I went back to sleep after I watched the trailer. Because I will tell you, okay, literally that night, I was so nervous that I was waking up in like cold sweats every half hour. Like, I was not getting any sleep because I was so excited for this trailer that like I was so dead tired that after it was over, I was like, oh, thank God, I can finally rest because I'm not nervous anymore if this is going to be good or not. Like, so I'm sorry that you went to work and I went back to sleep because I work nights, Joe.
Anyway, going back to the Gen 8 and Let's Go art style, like Gen 8 looks. I feel like Gen 8 looks way better than what Let's Go style looks like. Like, I don't know. Like, it looks like someone just put a big light on top of Pikachu's head in Let's Go, and it was like just on the entire time. But it looks good. The art style looks great, and I think it's going to be a great game. People need to just chill out. Like, people need to stop getting so butthurt about graphics, because graphics isn't everything to a game.
I think one of the big things that kind of caused some of the butthurt, as you put it, was owners of the Switch were quite honestly spoiled with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like, for them to turn around, like, right on launch, just like, by the way, here's the most beautiful Legend of Zelda game you could ever imagine. Have fun.
Yeah.
Now, every time people look at a Switch game, they're like, well, it's not Breath of the Wild, is it?
But this looks somewhat similar to it. Like, the Gen 8 looks similar.
Yeah, that's why, because art style is
gritty Link, like trainer looking tired all the time. I'm like, no, you're not gonna get that from Pokemon. But
because people like everyone likes to flaunt with like graphic fidelity and all the pixels and seeing every individual blade of grass and stuff like, and it's just like the art style like. No one's ever said that a Mario game looks ugly. Like, for its time. Obviously 64 doesn't look good anymore in comparison because of the graphical limitations of the N64. But, like, at the time, every Mario game that came out looked nice. It looked good. Like, the graphics were good for it. Especially, like, even the Galaxy games, like, arguably still hold up pretty well on that 240p Wii in 2007. So, like, but everyone, because it's not Skyrim with every blade of grass being able to count and seeing all the leaves on every tree and stuff, they're like, oh, well, it looks like trash. When, like, Nintendo has never cared about having the most pixels on the screen or more pixels than any other game. Like, their artistic fidelity or whatever to those series is always more important than how powerful the game looks. And that's what helps make these games look better. Like, if you look at look at like Mario Sunshine compared to like GoldenEye 64 or something, or like something made on the PlayStation or 1 or something. You know what I mean? Like, these games look better because they didn't care as much about the technology behind it, and the actual visuals and the art style was more important.
Yeah, like the game looks great, and you can literally see every blade of grass in the background, and everybody just needs to stop comparing it to The Legend of Zelda, because that was a great game and it looks beautiful. But sometimes when I look at that game, I'm like, hey man, why are there so many like weird like graphical errors right over here? Like, we could play that game all day. Just be happy that there's a new Pokemon game coming out and we're gonna enjoy the new Pokemon.
They also had 5 years. Like, they worked on Breath of the Wild for 5 years, and obviously Game Freak has not had this long for Sword and Shield.
Yeah, but look what they came out with. Like, look. Like, chill out, bruh.
What a great analysis there. Chill out, bro.
Just chill.
I don't know. Like, it's unfair to keep doing that to things. Like, you're never gonna be happy then. Like, the main thing about Pokemon is, I was literally playing Pokemon Blue the day the afternoon after this got announced, and I was like, these graphics are still great.
Right.
Like, these Pokemon still look beautiful, because that's what matters, is how the Pokemon look, the design of the Pokemon. And it threw me off in the newer games when all of a sudden they were 3D models. I was like, whoa, they're moving around and doing stuff now? This is crazy. So, like, relax. They're doing a lot more for what it used to be. Like,
I think on the comparison thing, like, if the next Legend of Zelda came out and it looked inherently and obviously worse, like, a brand new Zelda game comes out, not a remake, because I know we've got Link's Awakening on the way, and it looked inherently worse than Breath of the Wild. Like, they just phoned it in and went, there it is. Then that would be a fair comparison. But, like, I'm now comparing this to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and it's clearly a huge step up. It's also on the Switch, which I really enjoy playing anywhere.
Yeah, like,
apart from on planes. Has anyone tried to play their Switch on a plane?
Dude, it's very uncomfortable because I'm a large guy.
I was about to say that. I was playing Mario Odyssey on the plane ride back to New Jersey, where I'm originally from, for the holidays, and the flight attendant looked at me like I was an insane person. She was like, "Are you playing Mario?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Aren't you a little old for that?" And I was like,
Ooh.
I like sat in my chair. I was like, "Ma'am, aren't you like supposed to be nice to me? Come on, don't hurt my feelings."
What a comeback!
I didn't say that to her. I was like, "Oh, I just enjoy playing video games." And she's like, "Okay," and walked away. I was like,
You should have thrown her out of the plane.
I literally sat in my chair, turned off my Switch, and put it away for a little bit because I
Wow.
felt so defeated.
I would have put my
Can I
foot
ask
out
you
in the
to-
aisle.
To shame which airline this was?
No, I got points with them now. I ain't gonna shame them. I can't.
Oh,
shame
okay,
them.
okay.
I can't shame them.
The problem I have is not so much the judgment, because I'm used to that. I like to put the screen on the table, and then obviously I put the Joy-Cons in the little handle. The problem I have with that is no matter where, like if you put the screen flat or propped up on the table, after about 30 minutes of play, I realize my neck is in a position it should not be in for that long. And that's when I like move and realize everything hurts.
Oh yeah. I've done that. I don't put it on the table because I'm just like so I don't know. I'm a big guy, and when it's tight in the seats, like I just hold it so I can like I always try to get aisle seats too, so I have a little bit extra room for my arms or whatever and my legs. So
Yeah,
I
there's a free
always
bonus.
hold it in my hands. And there are some times like when I was flying up to Toronto, I was playing Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and I get into it, and it's like an hour and a half flight or whatever. I'm playing the whole time, and then you talk about the neck pains, and it's like, oh man, was that worth it? But it's better than just being bored, right? Sitting there without anything.
Yeah, I've started watching movies on the planes now, though.
I watched somebody else watch Incredibles 2 on my flight home from Dallas. That was great because I didn't have to pay to watch it. The guy in the row in front of me was watching it, and I hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I got everything."
You don't have to pay for those. Those movies are free if you download the airline's app. You can watch the movies for free on there.
I don't know when I was a kid, they used to cost money, so it's just ingrained in my head.
changed.
Yeah, it's just ingrained in my
has-
head.
Definitely changed.
All right. Anyway,
Joe
No.
Brown, you can watch the movies from your Switch if you really wanted to.
oh god. I want to point out. Let's go around and say one thing
Wait,
that.
I wanna ask Adam a question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So from this trailer, do you think they got the Pokemon right for your region? Like, when you're in England, do you like see these Pokemon all the time or what? Like, does it make sense?
I did actually make a joke with some friends back in the UK because we Pokemoned many years ago back when I was still kind of playing competitively, and one of my friends did raise the issue. He's like, "Well, if it's set in Britain, why is there a monkey Pokemon?" And I politely pointed out to him that there is, of course, safari parks in Britain, so maybe that gives you a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, really.
for
Wait,
the-
are there? I'm very confused because what does that have to do with anything?
I mean, like, I think a lot of people believe, and I lived in both the city and the country in Britain. Rabbits just bouncing around everywhere is not the most common thing.
What is,
With fire on their feet.
Yeah, I mean that's not particularly accurate.
so what is the most common thing then?
It's pretty tame. There's some birds, and of all the countries and places I've lived and visited, I'd say Britain probably has the most tame nature.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying is that like England, like Britain as a country or as a region for Pokemon doesn't have a lot of influence for new Pokemon that they can go off of.
Here's the real cool thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but I know this for sure. All of it is made up, and it's just like whatever, bro. Like, who cares?
I'm just saying, if
we're
we're playing
monkey
that,
anywhere.
playing that game, that's not going to be accurate. The one thing that does look pretty accurate is Sobble, which is clearly like an upset Pokemon. Does remind me of British people in the rain.
That's me. I do like the new memes we're making with him. People are using him alongside the Pokemon O face, the Pikachu like gasping face now too. So it's just like him. It's Pikachu and Sobble together, just gasping.
Oh yeah. And then you have Ludicolo also from the Detective Pikachu trailer. You also have that shocked face too.
The best Sobble meme is the I had to do it to him.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Okay, I will locate it for you.
So as we're wrapping up the discussion on our starters and everything, I want to point out there's an article on Game Informer, and it's like 15 things you might have missed in the Pokemon Sword and Shield announcement. And the number one section is, quote, backpacks with an exclamation point. So it's like, we've had backpacks this whole time. How did anybody miss that we have? Like, where are we supposed to put our Pokemon? In our, in our pocket? Of course we have a backpack. It's so dumb.
Dude, it's in your pants.
But to you guys, what was one thing that you really liked at this region, like that you were surprised with? Because obviously, none of us saw Sword and Shield coming, but there were rumors around the internet that England was going to be the region, or the UK was going to be the region for the new games. So what was like just one thing when you watched that trailer that really excited you about this new game?
For me, I think it is probably the region. I love that we have the map, but like, there's some bits you can map to kind of one another. Like when you see them running through the snow, that's going to be the snow-covered region. But knowing the kind of builds and cities that they've put on there, I really do just want to see more of them. To get that map so early on makes me want to learn more about each place.
Yeah.
That's the big one. For context, the Joes are giggling because we have just sent in the Discord the British Pokemon drawings, which I highly encourage anyone to look at.
Oh my god.
Highly offensive to Nito Elizabeth and Nito Elizabeth II.
I like Deca and then Double Deca.
Oh my god.
And then LO, and then LOLO, and then LOLOLO.
Policeman Run's really been done.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it.
What about you, Joe? What was one thing that really stood out to you?
Okay, so like I said, I haven't played a lot of the Pokemon games. I know what I'm going to be doing until this new Pokemon game comes out now. But just like the whole, like, the upgrading of how the environment looks and how, like, moving around cities is now. Like, just like your character is, like, completely different from, like, what it used to be. Like, thinking back to Pokemon, like, I know you guys constantly are playing, like, the newest ones, but thinking back to Pokemon is, like, that sprite walking on the screen on this, like, 2D world, like, going through, like, these weird little sprite grass things, and now it's like a full-fledged like 3D character that I can see and move around, and like the way the Pokemon look and how the fighting is now more animated, and their attacks, like you can see, like I don't remember what that attack that that Pokemon was doing in the trailer with the punch, and you can like
he's doing Power Punch.
Yeah, that you could see the fist and like all this other stuff, which I thought was cool. Like, just like I feel like Pokemon has come such a long way since come out. Pokemon has been around for I think this is right, 23 years, and that's insane.
I'm only 25, Joe.
Wait, for real?
Mm-hmm.
The one thing, like, I think, speaking of like, how long it's been around, there's now so many different kind of forms and ways people engage with Pokemon. I'd love to see this game draw people in from those other portions, like the trading card game. Like, I talk to people in the trading card game who don't know where these Pokemon come from, and I think maybe some of that's been like, oh, I don't own a 3DS, or I don't regularly game on my 3DS, but, for people, I mean, I don't know what else you do on a 3DS. Just look at it, but with it coming to such a successful console like the Switch, Not to say the 3DS hasn't been popular, but the kind of thing that most people are starting to own now who are involved in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could bring in like huge numbers of people to just play it and love it and really get into it, because everyone owns the Switch. Like, and the amount of people that played Let's Go that I wasn't expecting was pretty alarming.
Yeah, Let's Go sold like
office,
10 million units or whatever.
There are people in my office, they played Pokemon Go, and then they started playing Let's Go, and I was like, what? You don't... Hold on. And that's exciting.
Yeah, I don't know. I was super excited when I saw all this stuff. Like, yeah, I did play a little bit of Sun and Moon, and it looked really cool. But like seeing this, I got like super hyped. I'm like definitely gonna go back and play Sun and Moon. I'm definitely going to go. Joe Brown, you could tell me if I should or not play Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like,
you'd rather throw $35 in a fire.
Okay. Then I'm also gonna get Let's Go. I've been thinking about getting Let's Go for a while, and I'm gonna play through that too.
Let's Go was so much fun, man.
I'm excited to get back into playing Pokemon. I've like the craziest thing is one of my coworkers this year actually got me back into playing Pokemon Go. So I've been playing that a lot, and then this came out, and now I'm like, okay, let me just hop on the Pokemon train and just like keep going with it. Like, I'm excited to. I asked Joe Brown to legit help me become better at Pokemon, even though he did tell me to like the fire types. I'm not going to do that, but I still want him to help me become the very best there ever was. Maybe surpass him and take over his entire life.
Well, that's not very hard to get better than me. I brought a Dawn Wings to Grossman to the regional PC that Friday in Dallas, so that was a pretty bad mistake of my end. We also had I said TJ helped me team build, and he gave me this ludicrous scissor spread I should use. So it won't be hard for you to pass me, Joe.
Oh, okay. And then here's another thing that is just for fun. Since we don't know the evolutions to the... Do we... I actually don't know. We don't know the evolutions to these new starters yet.
No. Over, every couple of months, they'll give us the next evolution line.
One of my friends kind of brought this up. She was like, what happens if these Pokemon don't evolve? They just get older. And then there was this picture.
Oh my god. For our listening audience, it looks like Grookey has turned into like Yoda with a tail. He looks very wrinkly. I'm definitely not a fan of this.
This is a cursed image, I believe is the technical term.
Well, hold on. Let me clear our timeline or whatever with this photo. So this is the Japanese logo, and our audience, you can't see it, but if you want to look it up, it's Sword and Shield. But you see those little red and blue? They kind of look like Sonic and Shadow in Sonic Adventure 2, like in that logo, like the circle of it. You guys see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
I think I do.
So if you look at Sword and Shield, you see those little Beyblade circle looking things. They kind of that's why I said Sonic, because he kind of looks like that.
Sonic and Knuckles, got it.
Right. So in the Japanese logos for every game, they reveal the new mechanics as like a hidden Easter egg, and it sucks. And I don't know why they do this, because in the English versions they never do it. So in X and Y in Japanese, they had the Mega Stone for Mega Evolution. In Sun and Moon, they had Z crystals in the logos. In Ultra Sun and Moon, they had the chroma whatever thing for Ultra Necrozma, right? So now this is now the fourth time in a row that they have the logo for a mechanic in the logo in the Japanese image. What do we think this means? Because in every one of the stadiums, so in Game of Slane's video that shows off where they think all 8 of the gyms are going to be,
Can you
all
the image?
The what?
Some of the image.
No, well, it's a video. It's a video. So no, that's fine. Okay, remember in the trailer when the male trainer is walking into the soccer stadium? So before he changes clothes or whatever, there's the front door with like the leaf symbol to show it's a grass gym, right?
Yeah.
So on those doors is that red and blue circle logo, and on every other gym that they saw on the map has the red and blue circle. So this is a game mechanic that they're introducing into the series. Now it's called Sword and Shield. If you remember, there's a very popular Pokemon called Aegislash, whatever we want to say for it. he has two forms. He has a sword form and a shield form, and depending on which form he is in, he has either increased attack and special attack as a sword, or increased defense and special defense as a shield. So, just off the top of your heads, like what's running through your mind right now when you see this logo and this image?
You see, when I first saw it, I went back and I looked at the whole like X and Y. X and Y was where it started, right, with the Mega Evolution.
Right.
And then Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire have the red and blue orb, and then the Z crystals, and I was like, oh, like maybe it's just an additional. It's just like how we define battles. But then I did buy into it and how important it would be. I started off thinking that maybe some of the new Pokemon would be similar to Aegislash in how they have those kind of forms, but in previous, in kind of current games, they've been, I guess, retconning in that they've added the Mega Evolution to older Pokemon, or they've allowed everything to take a Z Crystal, or they added the orbs to Kyogre and Groudon. So I'm thinking it might be kind of a lighter change in that maybe there's some kind of mechanic where you could buff one side of it, so you could go defensive or you could go more offensive. I think it would be a stretch to say, okay, well, there's 10 Pokemon with form, or is it form change? It's
stance change.
Stance change. I think adding that, I can't see many Pokemon in the existing dexes that would allow for that. So I think it's going to be kind of like a Z Crystal mechanic that says, okay, like, you can attach this item, and then you get the choice to go offensive or go defensive and take a boost in that regard.
Sorry. I actually, because I'm looking at the trailer again, it's not only outside of it, but it's also on his clothes when he's walking inside of it. It's on his shoulder.
On his jersey?
So, yeah, it's on his jersey. So part of me kind of thinks that maybe it's more of like a league that you go in to join. It's like it's going to be a symbol of like a league you can become a part of.
Oh, okay, that makes sense actually.
Because I don't think they're going to add. Maybe I don't know if they will, but like I don't think it's a new mechanic that it's going to be. But it's going to be like, so this is like a different area. So we're going to have like this new kind of like thing about Pokemon where you join a league. Maybe you're on a team and you do like a team battle. Or something like more like of like a team thing or something like that, or maybe it's just like to indicate that it's a gym. Besides it being a huge building in the middle of the city, like maybe it's like, oh, this is like, like maybe you can join different parts of like different sides of the league that you become a part of. Or
yeah, because I think it'd be way too complex if every Pokemon could change their attacks and defenses at will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be so hard to account. Like, if I'm just thinking about it from our competitive, like, our VGC standpoint, like, the game already has so many 50-50 moments on making the right call that if I have to guess he's not going to just protect or go for Moonblast with Xerneas, but he's also going to switch his defenses, like, oof. I don't know if we could really handle that competitively.
I think you'd be able to.
That seems like a stretch. If you were going to name this league, what would you guys call it? Would you maybe say it would be a Premier League?
I was just about to ask when Joe brought up that it being a league. I was like, oh, just like the Premier League in England, and there seems to be a big soccer connection here, and obviously that's like England's number one sport and everything. It's like, it's when we say ball is life in America, we're talking about basketball, but ball is life in England is talking about soccer. So,
How mad would everyone be, just an aside, if there was no football connection and it was purely cricket based?
I would.
The rest of the world now has to learn cricket rules.
I would be cool with that. Also, I'm posting something in the Discord because I was trying to figure it out, and I was hoping that I'd be able to read it, but I can't. But underneath that logo on the jersey, there is writing on it.
Oh yeah, I think it's in that Pokemon language. Because they have a made-up language. Because you can also see in the stadium the words Game Freak is written on, like, what would be, like, how advertisements at a stadium, like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or something like that. There's one that says Game Freak in it. So in that made-up Pokemon language.
I definitely do think that the league that you join and stuff like that.
What about the idea of fusion? Because people have also been bringing that up as a new mechanic. We've had that with the Kirums in Generation 5. We have it with Solgaleo and Lunala, where they can fuse with Necrozma to turn into Duskmane and Dawnwings, right? And then obviously Necrozma with his Z move can become Ultra Necrozma. So like we've kind of dipped our toes in the fusion water, but oh god, that was actually a pretty good pun. But like it would be are we getting too close to Digimon if we have some fusion mechanics going on?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Because people thought when they introduced Megas that it was like just ripping off Digimon.
Okay, but here's my next question. When's the last time you saw a Digimon game coming out?
It's a great question.
Like, fusions would be cool. Like, what are we going to say? Oh, fusions, you ripping off DBZ now? Fusion Habro? They got to do a little dance? Like, relax.
Oh, we can make so many memes.
We can totally not steal, but like be inspired to do new things from other genres. It happens in music all of the time.
Right. So what do you think about them adding that mechanic, though? So I'm saying where you combine Charizard and Venusaur into a new Pokemon or something.
Does one of them die in the mix? Because it sounds dangerous.
I think the only thing I can think of when I think of Pokemon fusions, and I don't know if it still exists, but I do remember that very old, like not high-tech website where you could select from the drop-down the table and color scheme and put it on the body of another Pokemon.
Yes.
That's the future that we could be facing.
Oh, I'm so down for that. Some of those monstrosities.
Yeah, dog. That could happen. No,
yeah, I don't know. I think the game is in a really good spot right now, and like after Mega Evolution, like I'm not the biggest fan of Z moves. A lot of competitive players don't really like Z moves because of the like kind of roulette it creates every turn when you don't know, because it's not just attack. Like Mega Evolution, I think is very fair, and I've went at lengths with our good friend Mr. B Dog about Megas versus Z crystals, because when Lucario has his Mega Stone, right, he will always, no matter what, become Mega Lucario. He can't be Mega Kangaskhan, he can't be Mega Gyarados, he can't be Mega Altaria. With a Z move, if I have Tapu Lele out, I have no idea if he is Fairyum Z, Psychium Z, Electrium Z, Fightium Z. Like he could, it's like Schrodinger's Z move or whatever, the cat. Like he is every single Z move at all times until he is shown one Z move. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I and that's like something I look at when I'm playing, and some of the frustration when I think about playing an event and playing a regional is, yes, you can understand the meta game. But like you say, you'll just play somebody who has Boginium Z on something, and then all of a sudden you're down a Pokemon. Like, yes, I'm glad I saw that coming and could prepare adequately for it.
Right. So like, I just don't think we need a whole brand new, because these mechanics carry over from each generation. Like in Gen 7 we still have Megas, and they're still relevant in VGC 18 and then 19. Once we get to Ultra Series, we're gonna have Megas back. So like in Gen 8 we're gonna have Megas, Z moves, plus whatever this fusion potential thing is. Like I think it might be making that barrier for entry that gets lessened by being on the Switch and having a more accessible audience. It might increase that barrier again because you're going to keep adding too many mechanics.
Yeah, I think, and I mean, we usually get that kind of very pure season when we rotate, where it's like, from a purely competitive standpoint, we get that very pure, like, this is what you got in this game, where we leave things like the Megas behind, and I hope that will bring, for the video game championships, like players in, they'll want to play with these new Pokemon and play in this new kind of setting, I guess. It's going to be very different going to tournaments with Switches.
It's going to be hard with screen peekers. This is the 3DS folds, right? The Switch doesn't fold.
I saw someone bring it up today from, a tournament perspective. And yeah, like actually having to buy a Switch is probably one of the biggest barriers to entry. But I think a lot of people are picking them up. But then do we dock them with screens? Do we just hold them and point them at each other? Like, that's going to be something interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was thinking was to maybe help with that is you can use the mobile and put the kickstand up. Like that way, it's only facing you. You know what I mean?
Right,
you
right.
Take the Joy-Cons out and you play.
But
it
then
like
the problem I saw a couple of people talking about was battery life. You know, does each table come with a USB-C charger? And if so, you know, are we going to be ready for that soon?
But how long do battles usually take? Because the Switch has a 5-hour battery life. You just have to charge it in between sessions.
Yeah, and if you play a regional with 7 or 8 rounds at up to 50 minutes a round,
okay, yeah,
you're going to tear through it.
You can charge in between your sessions. Like, there's no way that you play one and I have no idea. So
yeah, well, so you can if there's enough wall sockets or whatever for people to stand around to charge, you know.
You can have docking stations. That could be a new thing that you guys can have set up for people to meet each other, talk about stuff, like a more social thing to happen at these tournaments. Even though I'm sure people are still talking to each other, but
right.
And the other problem is like you can't use a regular battery pack. You have to get like the USB-C one.
What do you mean?
So like if you look at the general kind of battery pack you get for your mobile or whatever, you know, they're not always strong enough to give what the USB-C port needs.
Yeah. Okay.
So Nintendo and I can't remember the company I have. I think it was Anker. Nintendo and Anker came out with like a range of these are specifically for the Switch.
Okay.
You know, they support USB-C, so I mean, a lot of people I feel would just go that way, but it does feel a little bit rude to be like, hey, by the way, you want to play? Bought that Switch? $80 for a new charger.
Right. Yeah. But you can also just use like my Samsung phone charger works in charge Switch. Like I can just use that to plug it in and bring it to charge places.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to find a port.
That's true. I don't know. Like that's a thing to talk about when.
Yeah, we'll worry about it when we get there.
Yeah.
Now, so we've run out of time for our anthem discussion, so we're gonna make that another week. Sorry about that, but we do have to get to the real point of this podcast, the real actual Pokemon news that actually matters and affects our lives, which is the brand new Detective Pikachu trailer.
Wait, Joe Brown, hold on a minute. I think I hear someone at my door.
Oh god,
I gotta go get the door. Hold on a minute.
Oh my god, this bit is working great.
Joe Brown, you'll never guess who I found at my door.
Who's that?
It's me, Detective Pikachu, the greatest detective of all time. I'm Detective Pikachu, and there's a movie coming out about me.
Oh my god.
Voice.
Oh my god, Joe. So Adam, when Detective Pikachu first, the 3DS game came out, Joe was very much in love with the Detective Pikachu voice. And the problem is 3DS Detective Pikachu sounds nothing like Ryan Reynolds Detective Pikachu. So every time we do this bit
against Danny DeVito.
Oh my god! Oh, you know what's funny? I actually got a discussion with somebody at work. I sent him the Detective Pikachu trailer. I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" And he was like, "Oh, it'd be so much better if we had Danny DeVito." And I said, don't focus on what could have been. Instead appreciate what you have now." And he was like, "Wow, that was deeply profound, Joe."
I mean, it was.
Because, yes, we all would have loved Danny DeVito as Detective Pikachu, but Ryan Reynolds is doing a heck of a job.
I believe it's actually okay and on brand to say a hell of a job now.
Oh, that's right!
Yeah. I forgot. Pikachu says hell in this one, yeah.
The Detective Pikachu brand is so very confusing to me, because obviously I know the Pokemon brand, I do work with it, and I know what is and what is and isn't on brand. It's very, very much a family brand, and I think that's very good. But then when I see Ryan Reynolds do a behind the actor trailer about how he becomes Pikachu,
that was amazing.
I am very concerned. And then I see the footage of some of the Pokemon in there, and this is not a normal Pokemon product.
No,
like,
it's
I've
not.
been to see Pokemon movies in the theater, and I received a nice promo card, and it was a pleasant time. This one is I mean, if I get a promo, I'll be lucky.
They give you a pack of cigarettes.
Right, and maybe a slap around the ear. It also comes out on my birthday, so this is like the weird birthday present to myself.
Oh, happy birthday!
So wait,
For May 10th, yeah.
you're not excited about it?
Yeah, I know I am, and I
It's just a jarring
It's
experience
so
as
weird.
longtime Pokemon fans.
Man, how are you? We got him, man. We got pretty boy, man, sexiest man alive, Ryan Reynolds. He's in
That's
this
a discussion. I do want to know how that goes. Like, Detective Pikachu, the 3DS game, was Detective Pikachu, and it, people played it. People seem to have a good time with it. But then at what point does somebody turn around and be like, so Ryan, you've just finished Deadpool.
We're working on Deadpool 3. How do you feel about In Between?
Yeah, like, we know that one took it out of you. How about you just do voiceover as a beloved children's character?
Yeah. How about if Deadpool was one of the most likable, family-friendly characters ever?
I'm trying to think of other characters that, like, if you pitched it to him blindly as a lovable children's character, like, who he thought he was getting. And then he goes to the first script read, and the first line just says Pika Pika, and he's like, ah, yes, I have been bamboozled there.
But the thing is, he's not the one saying Pika Pika. Someone else is.
I'd imagine that would be, like, an original Pikachu voice artist,
Yeah.
right? Like, it has
wait.
to be.
Yeah.
So Nintendo is working closely on this project.
Well, the Pokemon Company. There is a separation between Pokemon Company and Nintendo.
Okay.
Like, Nintendo published the console, the Pokemon Company published Pokemon products for it.
Okay, so the Pokemon Company is all about it. They're having a blast. They're sitting there in Japan being like, yeah, we love Ryan Reynolds. He's the sexiest man alive. So he's got to be Pikachu because Pikachu's the sexiest Pokemon alive. I don't know if you guys knew that already.
Obviously.
But
That's a sentence I don't think
There's enough fan art. There's enough fan art out there on the internet.
like I don't know if you've seen it. Like there's a lot of things you can find on the internet. I'm regretting this even before I type it.
Oh my god! Just stop
Don't
typing
do
it.
this to yourself, Joe Barry.
Just turn your computer off now.
Oh man, I instant regret. I'm gonna.
No, you're gonna leave that one by yourself on your lonesome. You're not
turn
sending
this
the
computer into the
FBI.
As I say, Siri, remind me to call the FBI.
I was just trying to look for a buff Pikachu, but I did not find a buff Pikachu.
Oh my god!
Man, I found a rusty Pikachu.
All right, so let's break.
Just stop.
Let's not talk to Joe ever again, and let's break down this trailer. So we got a little bit more of a story on this one. We know that the main character, his dad has gone missing, and Detective Pikachu used to work with the dad together as a a Watson and Holmes kind of situation. So there are some theories going around, but I would like to just ask your general thoughts going from the first trailer to the second one now. How do you feel about the movie, and are you more or super more excited for it?
For me, I have really ratcheted up in levels of excitement. Like, I have gone from, okay, like, this looked good, the setting looked nice, the story intrigued me, to getting more from the characters. I think the first trailer was a little bit like, let's just show off our setting. Like, our city, it's Rhyme City, I believe.
Yeah, Rhyme City.
So, I'm excited to see that we've gone not just from showing us the city, but to the kind of the stories and a little bit more about what's going to be going on. Again, they've shown us a stadium scene just like they did in the Sword and Shield trailer, and the stadium scene looks amazing. Like, that's the one thing I'm like, hey, it's a stadium! With, obviously, a big Charizard in there.
You mean the underground stadium?
I don't know it's, where it is in relation to sea level, but...
Damn, got him.
It's enclosed, and there's cages, and it looks like it's in a sketchy area.
So there's nothing sketchy above ground?
I didn't realize you were such an expert on Rhyme City, Joe, but that's fine.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I am a forensic scientist, so I do know crime when I see it, bud.
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 The bud as the additional. It wouldn't have been a burn without the bud at the end.
So, okay, what crime has been committed in Detective Pikachu official trailer 2?
First off, that building.
Mr. Mime and Ludicolo is a crime. The appearance of Ludicolo is absolute disgrace to the legend that is Ludicolo.
That building's definitely not up to code for what's going on in there. All right, we got that's an illegal function. The police have been called. Detective Pikachu's there, for goodness sakes. The police are already there.
Detective Pikachu does not work with the police. There's no way.
He's definitely on the rogue side. Like he works against the police. He's like, oh, the police are here. We got to get out.
I know.
I got a record.
It's like, I feel like he's gonna be more of like an Eddie Valiant from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, pretty tired of doing his job,
yes.
but he will continue.
That was a reach into my childhood that you just did there.
That's a niche reference.
But an appreciated one.
I loved it.
I mean, let's be honest. Not only did they throw the stadium at us, they were like, "You want to see some Mewtwo?" And I was like, "Excuse me."
What'd you think of Mewtwo? That I
thought
was not expecting it, and I'm kind of like, man, like I don't even think we needed it. Like we don't need Mewtwo in this. We got Detective Pikachu,
dude. Mewtwo's in this one.
There was a lot of Greninja as well, which seems
Greninja's terrifying, dude.
Like, they've loved Greninja since its release, like Ash Greninja and the way they've printed it in the trading card game. And now we have packs of Greninja.
But they came
took,
out of pods.
Yeah, but then there's also Apoms, which Apom is probably the most terrifying in the trailer.
He has people teeth.
I said they came out of pods.
No, but like there's also
but remember Apom the monkey?
Yeah.
In the trailer.
Comes out of like some pods too, I think.
That was equally as terrible. That monkey was actually the scariest thing in that trailer.
I thought Snubble was supposed to be adorable, and he looked terrifying to me. Like he's supposed to be pink and fluffy, but he just looked like a homeless dog or whatever with its hair all messed up. But the thing is, I like that they're going so ridiculous with these Pokemon designs, because it wouldn't be fair if, like, you know, everyone sees Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur looks cute. You know what I mean? And it's like, but if some of the Pokemon look cool and looked, I guess, correctly represented to what they are in the main series, and then you had the absolute monstrosities of Mr. Mime and Ludicolo and Greninja, and like even Charizard looks freaking warped. Like it wouldn't mesh well. So I like that they all look terrible. They all look terrifying instead of some looking cute. Like even freaking Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff looks terrifying. It's so much better that way when they're all crazy.
Yeah, but they look realistic. That's why.
I didn't think Jigglypuff was that hairy, man. I'm gonna be real.
There was a lot of Pokemon that I don't think people realized were that hairy.
Like Ludicolo. Why does Ludicolo have a Duck Dynasty beard? Like its body is leaves. Why is it brown?
I can't answer that for you.
Yeah, I don't work for the Pokemon company.
I do. Adam and I, we have our friend group that we talk about all our Pokemon stuff in, and I like that I dropped the knowledge bomb when everyone was freaking out about Ludicolo in the new trailer, and I was like, technically Ludicolo is a girl because I played the Detective Pikachu game, and they call her a she in the cafe all the time, and they're like, whatever, Joe. So I like that I'm more informed than the casual Pokemon fan because they didn't play Detective Pikachu.
I feel like Detective Pikachu is now... It's going to be some weird... Like, I don't want to say offshoot, because it's clearly still Pokemon, but it's definitely a different type of Pokemon.
Yeah, it's its own universe or whatever.
I mean, I'm not sure like how that relates. Is it going to be like a Solo and a Rogue One, which are clearly part of the main world, or just something completely different?
No, I think it's going to be completely separated. What I hope for in Sword and Shield is that we get Looker back, who's like the detective in the series, because he has to be here as Sherlock Holmes, and he has an assistant, Detective Pikachu.
Well, how do we know that the guy's dad isn't Looker?
Oh. Okay, now actually, here's a theory. I think our friend Gabby brought this one up, Adam. That there's a theory that when Pikachu looks at the hat and he sees the dad's name and the address or whatever, there's a theory that the dad has been turned into Detective Pikachu.
Whoa.
And that's why he doesn't remember anything that happened prior, because it was a traumatic experience or whatever, and he was a person and got turned into Detective Pikachu, so that's why he can talk and doesn't remember anything.
Do we have any like references? And I think we do. I can't remember where they are. Of people becoming Pokemon.
Well, we have it the converse way. From Generation 4, we have it where Pokemon and people used to be one. Remember? And the like
Generation 1.
People in Pokemon used to be married and things like that. Like remember the Gardevoirs and things from those stories in Generation 4. The creation story.
Which one was Generation 4?
Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn that game. That sounds awful.
Well, that was the lore with Arceus and stuff. Was that people? I forget what the line is, but it's like people in Pokemon used to be undistinguishable from each other or something like that. So I don't think we have it except for Bill, as I think Joe was about to point out from Generation 1, where
he does it.
His machine turns him into a Nidoran or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
He turns into a Nidoran. He's a cutie too, but he can talk like a normal person can, though.
Right. So maybe there is credence to this theory. I don't know.
That'd be interesting. That would be a interesting thing to happen.
Yeah, that would definitely throw a curveball at it.
Don't bring your kids to see this one, everyone, because Pokemon's getting nasty with it.
It looks like a film targeted at kind of our age group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who have played Pokemon and want something a little different. But I'm like, you really going to bring a 9-year-old to this?
When I saw Deadpool, there was a 6-year-old in the front row crying.
Yeah,
so
I remember Joe Brand telling me that. He's like, I saw Deadpool.
I wanted to punch that parent that brought that kid with them.
I had a similar situation on a plane recently, where there was a dad next to his. I'm assuming it's his son. It was a child, and this man was like clearly watching.
Found him.
Yeah, he just got seat assigned that way. But yeah, he was. I've always been conscious of like what you watch on planes. This man was very publicly watching and enjoying Deadpool, and I was thinking like, that's not a film for the plane.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, I don't know what else is enough. Bohemian Rhapsody, because I was watching that and thoroughly enjoying it. And then there was a part where Freddie Mercury's making out with some guy, and the girl sitting next to me looked over and asked me what the hell I was watching.
Culture. That's what you should have said.
Yeah, I should have said that.
The voice of a generation.
Mm.
I did love Bohemian Rhapsody, though.
It was a good movie. But yes.
Okay.
That.
Now, Adam.
Yes.
Am I the only one who, whenever the chance arises, when people talk about the Detective Pikachu movie, I make sure to let it be known that I am in that film?
Wait a minute!
Remember, Joe, from the World Championships?
I do remember.
I think I did it once. I brought it up to somebody because that was strange, and I was very confused as to what's going on. And now I kind of understand. Maybe I'm still a little bit thrown by it.
What, from the chanting?
I understand like the chanting is going to be recorded and used, and that's fantastic. But our chanting seemed a lot more kid-friendly movie than what I'm witnessing now. I'd have chanted differently with a visual.
Yeah, right. You would have been flipping off Charizard, and
What would you have said?
We can't say it on the pod, Joe.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'd have made a very personal attack on the Charizard.
Oh my god!
I was gonna say, what was
I just don't think a kid wants to, if I'm at the World Championships, I'm obviously, I actually was backstage before that happened, and I walked out just as we kind of did that announcement. I probably would have gone a little more personal on the Charizard, like, you wish you could be a dragon type. That'll show him.
That'll show him.
Yeah, and then that's like when Charizard's listening, like, really? You had to? And then he cries, and then he's vulnerable. And
it's like
Pikachu can do his thing.
In a sea of chants, he hears that one voice that's different, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
I can't imagine athletes don't hear the hecklers.
So,
right? Because they always say, oh no, you just drowned it out, blah, blah. Like, there's no way you don't hear them.
There was a really good episode of a British podcast I listened to where they have a footballer on, and he kind of tells stories from his playing days, even though he's still playing. It's a gentleman called Peter Crouch. And Peter Crouch is well known because he is one of the tallest strikers in the Premier League. And he openly admitted, he was like, yeah, sometimes there'll be people sat down like a few rows away, you'll go and take a corner and you'll just hear somebody really go for you in a very personal way. And for like the next minute, your head is just down, like, oh, okay. So I like to think that would work on a Charizard.
So we gotta help Detective Pikachu by saying insults to Charizard in that situation.
I mean, he has a type advantage, he doesn't need that much help.
Well, he needs all the help because he can't do it while people are watching.
Dude, you'd be like, Charizard, I'm gonna splash water on you, and he's like, what? No, get out of my tail.
Oh my god. I love when companies take risks and they pay off. You know what I mean? Because with Pokemon, we've been saying the same thing for so many years now, of like, do things different. And then they finally did. They added fairy types and they added megas in Gen 6, and then Gen 7 we got Z-moves and stuff, and they're little subtle changes and stuff. But it's like, okay, cool, you added mega evolutions. But what if you just made like an R-rated or a mature-rated Pokemon game? Like, that would be a risk. And that's kind of what they're getting. This is PG-13, obviously, in the movie. But, like, this is them actually trying to do something different and not just make the same movie of every new legendary that they already do, And I think that, they should be commended for trying something different, and our hype should not, is warranted in this situation, I'll say.
I think doing something different is exactly what they needed to do in a way. But I'm at first announcement, I was like, okay. And the more I see of it, the more excited I am. So it's working on me, and I don't know if I am the target market, but I have the ability to go to the movies nearly whenever I want.
I'm not the target market, but I've already purchased my tickets. No.
No, I think I have to wait, maybe. I don't know, because I do the movie subscription thing.
Right.
We shall see.
Well, so you have, for your birthday, you have Detective Pikachu. I'm lucky enough in 2021 to have Space Jam 2, baby. All right?
If that actually happens.
No, LeBron posted the photo of it. It's July 16th, 2021. He posted with him and Bugs and Lola on the cover. It says Space Jam 2, July 16th, 2021.
Okay.
I think.
So that's my birthday present.
But have you watched the actual Space Jam recently?
It's a banger, Adam. I'm not going to hear anything else.
No, I don't. I'm not arguing that.
Oh, okay, good.
I don't know how can you come with a sequel to such quality?
I want them to literally make the exact same movie, have 60-year-old Muggsy Bogues on the court with Charles Barkley. Like, literally the only thing is different is they replaced LeBron and Michael Jordan. That's all. I want the same movie. I don't care.
Do you think, with that in mind, are you demanding the same song? Would you like I believe it's the Quad City DJs?
Come on, Israel!
Yeah, would you like a new version of that, or?
No, I want the same thing.
I want the same song, but like remixed, I guess. Can we, Joe, do you remember when we were our age together and I would play all of those Space Jam remixes with different songs?
Yep.
Oh, I like to Tijamic, which was the Celine Dion Space Jam combination.
Might be a no-go.
directed by James Slamrin was a.
Oh lord.
Oh my god.
Just a heads up, the original Space Jam, I'm not sure if the song in question is on there, but just a little bit of Googling. The producer on that soundtrack album was one R. Kelly.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I believe I Can Fly will not be in the Space Jam 2 soundtrack.
Might be time for a...
That is my hot take.
Yeah, maybe freshen that one up.
Oh my god. Or we can have somebody else sing it.
He wasn't a producer on that particular song, though, so you may be able to save that song.
We could have, who is it? We could have, like, Adele sing it or something.
No, we'll have, we're gonna get my boy Post Malone.
Okay, that works too.
That would...
Could you imagine LeBron with 4 60-year-old basketball players? Like, because everyone's like, oh, they're going to put Dwayne Wade and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And I'm like, no.
Did they already try that? They call that Uncle Drew.
That movie is amazing.
Yeah, I was about to say, that movie is great.
It's hilarious.
Last night.
It is so funny.
Wait, but I don't... In the actors who played the actual people who were on the team, I don't think any of those were actual real basketball players, were they?
Yes, they were all NBA players.
Oh, what?
Man, you ain't Charles Barkley. That was Charles Barkley.
What, in Uncle Drew?
No. I'm talking about Space Jam. Oh, and Uncle Drew. No. They were all they were all former NBA players with makeup on. Reggie Miller, Chris Webber,
I didn't know they were
Shaq.
Shaq.
I definitely knew Shaq.
Who's the fourth one?
Shaq
is my hero.
To miss. Shaq makes frequent appearances around my way, and there's no joy in telling people from Orlando that you've seen or met Shaq.
Because he's so prominent.
Everyone has.
First off, I want to become best friends with Shaq because he seems hilarious.
He's definitely, like, I know you hear a lot of stories like, oh, some celebrities are terrible and some of them are super nice. And one time, this is one of the... I've met him multiple times.
Oh my god.
So not only does he own a house, like, it's like...
He lives next door to you. Is that what you're saying? He's your neighbor.
Okay. Side note, there is a current NBA player who lives in my building.
Ooh, nice.
Oh my goodness. Where do you live?
Really close
Carlton?
to the... no, I live next to the, like, really close to the Amway, the Magic's arena.
Oh.
So, yeah, like, I kept seeing this guy, and I was like, first of all, I established he was very tall, and then I was, like, in my head doing the joke, like, he must be a basketball player. And then one day, I was genuinely watching, like, a Magic game at home, and I was like, oh, he is a basketball player.
Oh, dear God.
Did you go and knock on his door?
I don't know which door he lives in. There's multiple, like, it's an apartment building. But then Shaq owns, like, one township over in the nicest part of town. Mm-hmm. His house, I believe, has, like, the magic blue roof. and he just pops up, like, the one time I most recently saw a Shaq in the flesh, I was at a gas station with my friend, who then was like, is that Shaq? And I was like, yeah, it's very clearly Shaq. It's not like...
Is that Shaq?
Is that Shaq? No, that's small Shaq. That's the guy who looks like Shaq, but he's 2 feet smaller than Shaq.
And then, so, my friend tries to do take a picture in his wing mirror of Shaq, and Shaq just offers him, like, you can just take a picture if you want. Like, I am in the same position of you, of waiting for gas to enter my car. You can't go anywhere.
Oh,
the pump
God.
doesn't run quicker for Shaq. Like,
Oh, my... So, wait. Shaq was just called to your friend and was like, hey, if you're going to take a picture of me, take a picture of me. Don't try to sneak it. Like,
pretty much, yeah.
That's a good Shaq voice, Joe.
He's like, if you want a picture, you can ask. And I was like, oh, okay.
So is that when
You got it, Shaq Fu.
He was literally like the pump behind my friend's car.
That's insane.
All right. I would love to sit here and talk about Shaq for the next 2 hours, but I have to go to work. So we are gonna
you have to go.
We are going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much, Adam, for joining us here on Cup of Joe's. Do you have anything you'd like to plug, or where people can find you? Anything? The floor is yours.
I don't actually tweet that much, but sometimes I'll go on a spree with the Dozzalon, DOZZ, or ZZ if you wish.
I'll let you get rid of. I'll let you get away with ZZ because of Sword and Shield. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we do Joe Brown and I do regional streaming for Pokemon events, video games, some of the trading card game stuff as well. That's on Twitch at Critical Hit GG, and we have.
Oh yeah, I'm usually in the chat for that.
Yeah, the next one we're doing is Daytona.
Woo!
A whole story Joe Brown should tell
my
about
God.
his experiences in Daytona. But,
Oh,
yeah, that's the easy one. And then periodically I'll turn up on a Pokemon stream, which is cool. So
sounds good.
All right, cool. So with that, we're all very excited for Pokemon in both the video game and Detective Pikachu. And we will see you next week. But Joe, if you would like to take us home.
All right. Oh no! I lost my.
Oh God! What did you lose?
We're ending the episode. I'm deaf now forever. I pulled out my headphone jack really fast and they couldn't hear anything.
Okay, I think that's the perfect way to end this. We will see y'all next week.